Rise, minions, and welcome to unMadeGaming. We are here for the first episode of Unsung, a brand new campaign from a brand new TTRPG called Emberwind. Here with us today is a few fan favorites. We have Video Store Cowboy, we have Sam the Wizened Fool, and we have a new face, Johnny, Radio Johnny Panda. Nailed it. That being said, we're jumping right in to Emberwind today. So Johnny, take us away. Welcome.
Nailed it.
To season one.
Yep, nailed it. All right. Okay, guys, we're playing Emberwind, so let's go ahead and get started. Axia, a fragmented world made up of floating continents and islands. The land was shattered during the Calamity, a catastrophic event that took place more than 1,000 years ago. The exact circumstances of the Calamity have been long forgotten, and the descendants of the survivors have cobbled together a precarious existence on the few remaining pieces of land. Miasma, a toxic gas that first appeared during the Calamity, pollutes Axia. Its toxic effect has altered or killed any creature that has been exposed to it. Miasma is everywhere. There's only one counter to the effects of miasma: hearth crystals. These crystals are large gemstones that nullify the miasma's toxic properties. Life in Axia would not be possible without them. These wonderful crystals also create a levitation field. Moderately sized crystals power the airships that allow the people of Axia to sail from island to island in the azure. Larger crystals help keep the islands and continents afloat. The thriving port city of Adriel is a floating metropolis. It is comprised mostly of congregated airships that came together in stages. Nailed it. This approach led to the formation of districts and distinct and socially stratified districts, each with a hearth crystal shining at its core. Adriel is humanity's greatest achievement since the Calamity, and is one of the only hubs of art and commerce left in Axia. Whoa. Sorry, guys, just a second. We'll fade into the city and to a place on the underbelly of this setting, this metropolis called Gelspar. Gelspar is the decrepit slum that hangs beneath the rest of Adriel. Originally intended to house Adriel's booming immigrant population, Gelspar soon fell into disrepair. It is an uneven array of scaffolding and sheet metal dangling haphazardly from tethers tied to airships above. Many of the city's most powerful gangs are based here, recruiting new members from the starving and impoverished residents that live there. The hearth crystal in Gelspar is failing and will not support the district much longer. Darkness has fallen over the streets like a cloak. Unlike the rest of Adriel, the slums are not offered the luxury of light. The Clueless Prince, a crumbling statue that stands guard over the eastern square between the districts of Gelspar and the Red Market. Once a marketplace teeming with commerce, the Prince's Square is now a no man's land between two districts. Each of you were instructed to meet here at the foot of the Prince. You find yourselves together, waiting in the gloomy darkness of Gelspar. Introduce yourselves and tell us what you look like.
I can go first. So I will be playing Fourth Red Blossom. I'm sorry. I gotta look it up again because it's like words. Fourth Red Blossom grows in rocky soil. He is a monk clad in sort of brownish yellow robes. He has a long-bladed spear that he kind of carries slung over his shoulder. On the end of the spear, we see sort of like a long series of prayer beads that kind of wrap around it. And he's holding the end of the beads kind of together with the staff of the spear. He's probably kind of just like sort of casually like lounging near the others. waiting to see, sort of let others take the lead. But he's got sort of this keen, watchful eye. It's obvious that he's paying a lot of attention to everything around him, even though he seems at relative ease. And he's also got a bald head and a very clean-shaven face, unlike myself.
Young in between?
He's probably about like a little bit older than me, so about like probably 26, 27.
Okay.
Is there just a real quick question before we move on to the other characters? Is there a story behind his name that we'll learn eventually?
Yeah. So we can talk a little bit more about where his name comes from, probably when we learn a little bit more. But suffice to say that before Red went out into the world, he spent most of his life in a monastery, where he was learning sort of a very particular sort of philosophy religious combination. When I'm sort of drawing for the mysticism, I'm going to kind of be doing some stuff with like Eastern monastic tradition, but also if anyone knows about like Jewish mysticism, especially like pre-Kabbalah Jewish mysticism, I want to pull in some stuff from that. So it should be interesting. But yeah, part of his name is sort of about, it's a little bit descriptive. He had trouble thriving in the monastery, and that's why he had to leave. He didn't do well in the more cultivated environment.
Okay, cool.
Johnny, I have a question for you. Are there any particular houses of nobility in the region that would opt in for this kind of a mission? And if so, what?
Absolutely. Houses, so John can probably answer this just as well as I can, or maybe even better, but there is the Council of Nobles, and they serve as the ruling class over the entire city. As a part of that, I don't think any of the individual noble houses are defined except for one or two that I know that I can remember by name. Would they... Your question is, would they be involved in what's going on?
Mm-hmm. Would they? So basically, Nalos is a steward of a noble house.
Okay.
Like as literal as the word can be, and also he is sent as a representative from said houses. Would any of the houses be interested in what is about to happen, enough so to send a representative?
Yeah, now you realize why I'm kind of chuckling at that too.
Yeah, so the answer is yes. However, this would have been kept off the radar of most of the noble houses. So your presence here
would be discreet in that case.
Would be discreet, and that would probably also be a situation where you wouldn't probably be even discreetly. You would be hiding that with your life. It would mean your life work here in this particular case.
Okay. All right. Awesome. Cool.
Good start.
But I will say this: there is a narrative reason there's a narrative like path that we can go, and you and I should talk privately about that, about how he fits into this particular sort of situation and setting. So
okay, cool, fantastic. In that case, you see Nalos Tarkus. He is dressed. Think Hayden Christensen from like the second or third movie, or the second movie, right? He's got the short sideburns. He's got that weird situation up top, and he has a twin braid that goes down both sides of his neck. Not the single one. I don't have any time for that Padawan shit. He's got a twin braid coming down both sides of his neck. He has a fairly gruesome scar on his left cheek. It's healed over, and you can tell it shows the marks of being healed by not just mundane poultices, but also magic. Either whether that was from combat and there was a combat, medic kind of person there, or whether he had the money to afford some kind of magic to be done to help remove the scar. You're not entirely sure, but he has the appearance of a sellsword. Most of his outfit looks drab. He's wearing very plain, heavy armor over which he has a sand-colored tunic, almost like a shemagh, kind of around his neck and draped down the side of him. him. By his waist is a large shield that he has sort of fastened like where his lower abs are, that just sort of hangs down over the side of his left leg. And in his right hand is probably the most expensive piece of equipment on him. It looks like a very well-to-do, very well-made polearm, about 8 feet tall from blade to base. The blade itself is probably a good 12 inches long, and it is designed ornately. And he stands there, and he has the posture of someone who's trained in the military and may not just be a sellsword. And he stands there quiet and stoic and stares with that "I've seen some shit 1,000-yard stare," and he simply waits for someone to tell him what to do.
Okay. Interesting. Talon is somewhat similar to, was it Nalos? Was that it?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. But his armor is actually more decorated, but well used for sure. He's in full plate from pretty much head to toe. No shield. He just has a two-handed sword. He has a tabard. What you guys know of him is he's actually a recent arrival to Adriel. He is actually a sellsword. That is, he served 2 years with Gray's Gauntlet, cut his teeth there, and now is striking out on his own. And he heard Adriel was the place to be for adventure and coin. And he is very much a mercenary in terms of, this blade doesn't come out unless I'm getting paid. And you guys already know that about him. So, but because because the group has come together, he can be convinced if some people are to rush into battle foolishly, he will grumblingly probably pull his blade and continue. He's about 30 years old, pretty hard bitten, shoulder length, dark brown hair. He's got the stare as well. He's, I've seen some shit, exactly. And about 6'2", 200 pounds, solid, and looks just very imposing and powerful.
I think maybe Talon would probably know this about Red, is sort of like just like wandering around, like giving people sort of like vague advice about like their spirituality and like their lot in life doesn't really pay the bills super well.
Exactly.
So I think like Red doesn't like particularly like enjoy it, but he would prefer to do a little mercenary work here and there than to rely solely on the goodwill and charity of those around him, and alms of the poor, especially in the slums, right, where there's plenty of other people who are probably looking for coins as well.
Even worse off, yeah. And I'm so glad you named yourself Red, because that is exactly what I would have called you anyways. So, yep.
A lot of words in your name. It's too much.
No one ever needs to say his full name other than me. But
I want Dot to do it though, to call it the whole thing and take like 10 seconds to say
every time.
But every time,
grows in rocky soil every single time.
All right.
All right. So as you, as the three of you are sort of loitering underneath the statue, because Red had mentioned this, I just will kind of like fill in a little bit more of the gaps in respect to setting the sort of the peripheral setting a little bit. Around the square, you see a couple of stands. The last of the market, sort of the market, place vendors who have, who continue to operate even though there's really no foot traffic whatsoever that can be seen. It is nighttime. There is the darkness and the gloom, regardless of where the sun is. Otherwise, Gelspar is always sort of shrouded in darkness as the larger city sits over it, tethered and hovering via its hearth crystals. As you're kind of taking in the setting and looking around the square, there are definitely pockets of even more blackness where you see movement. As if you are being paid attention to. And so as you're sitting there and just kind of watching sort of the square in its sort of empty sort of malaise state, a woman flanked by 2 sentries with long spears emerges from the mist towards the west of you. She has a lantern held aloft and approaches the statue. Both of her sentries have a recognizable emblem, a serpent coiled around the trunk of a large tree that of the merchant Maddox etched into their breastplates. And as she approaches, she says, "Welcome." And she eyes each of you wearily.
I just have to ask, wearily or warily?
Warily, sorry, wearily.
Okay. Just checking. It could go either way with her.
Yeah.
She says, "Welcome." Welcome, she says, warily eyeing each of you.
Okay.
My name is Elise. I work for Kendrick Maddox. And now, so do you. And to punctuate that last sentence, she tosses your group a small bag that contains 10 gold pieces. Whoever wants to be the party treasurer, it's time to step up.
Sounds like Red's going to be, since he's looking for alms, so we'll hand it off.
Yeah. I think like what happens is like the bag like gets tossed in the air, and then it's like one very quick smooth motion. The butt of the spear like flips around and sort of snags the bag and reels it in. Nice. Real quick, tucks it into his robes.
Nice. And she says, "For traveling expenses." And she begins to turn as if she's impatient to leave. And she says,
I clear my throat loudly as she starts to turn. And kind of my hand, by the way, is when you see the picture, is on my sword hilt, and it pretty much almost never leaves it. Okay. And I say, you're pretty quick to make a lot of assumptions here based on a small bag of coin. I think me and my friends have some questions for you first. Surely you didn't just come here to say, "Oh, Maddox," as if that's going to open up all the world to us.
You are familiar with who Kendrick Maddox is, are you not?
I know of him. It seems we're moving up in the world, but remember, actually, is she asking or are you asking?
She is asking.
Okay. I was like, yeah, I heard the name. I haven't been in Adriel long, and apparently we're moving up in the world if we're working for a baron. But that's about all I know. He's a baron. You're paying us gold to do something. How about a little more information?
He's not just a baron. He's a very rich man. He's a merchant baron.
Right. I make my living with this. He makes a living through coin and buying and selling things. I'm not quite willing to be sold just yet until I have more information about what I'm doing for the man.
The coin is for travel. Where are we traveling?
You're to meet Kendrick. You're to follow this path, and she points in the direction opposite her across the Hacksaw Bridge to find yourself at Starlight Commons. You're to meet him under the hearthstone that sits there.
Over to look at the guards. And who should we say sent us?
She sighs heavily. This is I am Elise. I am in the employ, as I just stated. And now so are you. You've accepted the coin. You're here for the job. He has all of your answers. But you best get to him quickly.
10 gold is a bit of a price to travel from here across a bridge to just over there. What aren't you telling us?
Now. One must be very careful. Though you follow the path, you never know where it might lead.
What?
So...
I've wandered all over the place. I never know where I'm going. It's good to be specific with these things. Otherwise, you never know where you end up.
Right.
I change and glance with Nalos, like...
Right there. It's right there.
Just shrugs.
It's about 100 yards.
And just to check, we can see the glow of the crystal in the distance, right?
Yes, it's faint.
Not to get ahead of ourselves, but it's
you can see the glow.
Right. Okay.
Right. So you see the glow in the distance, right? And when she points in the direction, she points back in towards the essentially the center of Gelspar, and you can see the faint glow. For Nalos and Red, who have spent a fair bit of time around, I mean, all three of you would have spent at least a little bit of time around the rest of the city. For each of the districts, you would have seen the center hearthstone crystal that kind of sits in a place of reverence on each of these plateaus or platforms. And each of these platforms, you would hear a thrum, a humming sound that would just sound like a pulsating heart, but more of a, sort of an in your belly kind of a feel. And you would see the shining light that gets generated from these particular crystals, and they permeate the area with light, and just there's a radiance of warmth in that feeling. But from Gelspar, you barely see the glimmer of the light, and you do not hear the humming sound of the crystal.
Right. Okay.
And so, in answer of Naelus's question about the dangers or what lies ahead, she says, the Chasers have been battling a local gang for control of Hacksaw Bridge. If you're going to encounter trouble, it's going to be there. I'm not sure who controls it at the moment. There are always people laying traps on both sides. Keep your eyes in the back of your head.
See, Nellis, we must be careful. Though it might only be 100 yards, you might fall off the bridge, end up on an airship, and then you're on your way out to the Outer Isles. You never know what could happen.
From what I've heard,
the way of things.
I hope it's not that.
From what I've heard, you fall off that bridge, it's a longer way down than just on an airship. I still eye Elise. You say Maddox has all the answers, eh? But you know nothing about what you've been sent here to contract with us to do. Moving against another noble house, maybe? A bit of wet work? Something else? You got no information for us whatsoever.
Wet work? What?
All right.
I turn to him and draw my finger across my throat.
Since you're pushing this thread, I'm going to ask for a fact-talking skill check.
Oh, fast talk. Can I use intimidate instead?
I don't know. You weren't being very intimidating.
If you want to,
your hand was on your sword the whole time.
Yeah, it hasn't left it. Yes. If I had the option, I would use intimidate, and I'm actually dead serious about it.
Okay, so give me one more sentence that kind of punctuates the intimidation, because she is sort of standing between two of House Maddox.
Yep.
Yeah, House Guards. So give me something that punctuates that.
I've stayed alive this long by knowing what the hell I'm getting into, and your attitude of come here, toss us some money, and take off doesn't sit well with me. Like the fact you told us to go meet with your boss. So if you're in his employ, you know something, like Nilo said, that you're not telling. And I want to know what it is right now.
All right. Well, I think it's time for you to give us our first roll of the game.
Indeed. All right. It's pretty much just a straight D20. Oh, that is, the hell was that? Hang on. And that is a 7, which is under my score. So I made the check.
Mm-hmm.
And she made the fast talk check too, come to think of it. Anyways, go ahead.
She eyes you, and an eyebrow crooks up, much like you would see Spock do on Star Trek. And she says, Kendrick doesn't like people knowing more than they need to. But I can tell you that there's a situation at the Festival of Sparks that needs my attention. A certain artifact has piqued Kendrick's interest and must be made available to him. But because of that, you have been given the task that he is going to give you. He has appointed me to give you to recover something else for him, something more precious, something. And she looks past you into the distance for Gelspar. But it is his. It is his job. It is his task to convey. And I am only a messenger in this particular case.
All right, I give her a curt nod. All right, on your way then.
So through this whole thing, Red was like rummaging through the bag, and he like has like this kind of look of consternation on his face, and then he looks to his two companions and goes, "We have a larger problem.
It's not 10.
Well, there are 10 gold pieces, and there are 3 of us. That's not divisible. Who'll take the last piece? It's terribly ill fortune."
Let's worry about getting out alive first. And then we'll figure out how to divide whatever loot we find.
That's a good point. By the time we're done, might be divisible.
Indeed. And besides, Gelspar, from what I've seen in this area, even though it's a slum, it's still not cheap to purchase things here. I think for now it should go into the party kitty to be drawn upon as needed, and we'll divvy up the spoils when we're finished. Again, assuming we survive.
Very wise.
Are we done asking questions?
I am. I've already dismissed the woman. I'm turning towards the bridge.
Yeah, Red's like walking away. Technically, that wasn't a question. That was more of a statement of fact.
As you all begin to walk away, she turns as well and gazes at you one last time and says, "It's a bit of a walk where you're going, so you'd better be careful and get moving. Do try to stick together. It's common for people to disappear in Gelspar, and lucky are the ones who reappear as corpses underfoot. Goodbye."
Thank you.
And
Stare at her off until she goes to the distance and shake my head and let's get moving.
so as you begin to make your way away from the statue itself, you start to pass the few merchants that are left in the square, and you hear them hawking their wares, trying to get your attention. Each of them, proclaiming different items that you hear mention of weapons and spirits and salves and ale. And as you continue to pass by, does any of those attract your attention?
Red, how much money do they give us for this little jaunt?
10 gold pieces.
This is why I'd like to know more about what the hell I'm getting myself into, because how do we know what the hell to buy if we don't know what we're doing? Although healing's always a good thing.
It seems pretty simple. Take gold, point, thrust, and he kind of motions to his polearm.
Yes, but are we encountering something with miasma? Are we encountering something with acid? Are we encountering something with, I don't know, slaughterfish? Going in blind is a sure way to get yourself killed.
Killed faster.
All well and good for you, I suppose. What is he? You said someone's hawking ale? What kind of ale are they hawking?
You see one vendor who's got a series of kegs that he just got sort of haphazardly just kind of laid out. And as you approach him, he says, "Right, got ale. You want some? It's only a coin. Just a coin. Come on, you want some, don't you? It's good." And he grabs for a tankard that he has sitting there filled with something. And as he's about to take a drink, you see his nose just sort of crinkle a little bit, and he kind of grimaces and then he kind of take that sip and he slams it back down. Good. I've got a bottle or two.
And which of those treacherous endeavors does this help you with?
Which endeavors are you speaking of, sir? It's just rot gut ale.
I know. I was talking to Talon.
My understanding is usually ale is drank after the job is done. Sort of relaxing type thing. I'm sure Talon has a plan for how this could help us, though.
Nalos kind of leans over. Or before, during, and after.
So as you're taking a sniff of it,
he takes a sniff of Talon.
He's calling Talon a lush.
He's clean. He's clean enough. I mean, we all been living in Gelspar for a while, so as catch as you can.
He's exposing a little bit of the fact that he may not be a sellsword and he may not look the highest on sellswords, but he's doing his best.
He's trying real hard.
He's trying real hard to think you're a valiant person.
Smell anything you like?
Absolutely not.
I'll lean over and take a whiff of the mug, and what do I get out of it, dare I ask?
You get what is an absolutely horrid sort of alcoholic smell that it almost like it steals your willpower, but but it definitely affects your ability to be on target.
What are you brewing this for the sewer water down here?
He looks at you and he says, well, you have to take a risk if you want to reap the rewards. This will carry you through the worst night, the worst cold, the worst storms. But I don't say that you should be. You shouldn't be using it when matters that in excuse me, blah 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 blah. In situations that matter.
In my line of work, every situation matters. I think I'll move on. The Salve Hawker vendor.
The Salve Hawker is this woman who looks to be a little well past her prime and is very tired. And you can see that she's got a series of containers. And as she's just sort of mixing something in some sort of bowl, she sees you kind of walk up and she says, salves for every need. Please, I haven't eaten in days. Please buy one. Just a couple of gold pieces. Just a couple of gold pieces.
How do I know they work?
I would like to see if I know whether they work. I am guessing that I have knowledge, and I'm a monk who heals people. So I'm thinking this may be covered under my knowledge skill set.
All right, so maybe? Give it a roll.
Cool. So I have a +4, which means I got to get under a 12.
That is correct.
Yes, sir.
Nope. Red just like dips his finger in one of the salves and like, no idea what this is.
Connie, since I've worked at a Merc unit before, and I mean, imagine at some point we would have had something like this. Can I take a sniff to see if I can identify kind of the standard ingredients? If I could sense it's the same thing, a knowledge roll.
You sure can.
All right, let's give it a shot. Not a chance. I can't tell. I mean, as far as I can, this could be rat feces and spit for all I know.
How do you do that though? What is the gesture that you affect?
Just pick up and take a sniff and just kind of wrinkle my nose like I can't decide. Basically, is all I'm doing. And then I say the line about rat feces, like this could be just shit you gathered up from the street, went into a ball and mixed with some dung, and then you're calling it salve.
And she looks mortified, and as quick as she can be before you even realize what she's doing, just surprising the hell out of you, she whips out a blade and cuts a place just on her hand, and the blade disappears quicker than you would expect, revealing that there's more here than meets the eye.
Indeed.
And she reaches out slowly, takes Red's hand with the salve on it, and just slowly uses his finger to spread the salve on top of the cut. And as you begin to watch the skin reform and the blood dry up and sort of dissipate as the wound sort of heals itself into a little scar.
All right. Now that's the kind of demonstration I like to see. So how much?
4 gold pieces.
That would make our number divisible.
I'll give you 6 for 2.
6 for 2. Make it 7 and we have a deal.
I hold up my hand to Red. Give me the bag.
Red tosses the bag.
Count out 7. Put on the 8 anyways. Put on the extra one. Put the stack beside it for the demonstration. And take the 2.
When you do this, Red looks mortified.
I always like a merchant who's willing to stand behind their wares.
And just as you place the coin, she slides 2 containers over to you, and she slides them past the coin that are seated on her stand. And when she kind of brings her hands back, as she's kind of pulling them back, right, you don't see the coins actually disappear, but they're gone.
I'm going to visit your stand when I'm back in the city. I have a feeling we have much to discuss.
And at that, she smiles a crooked smile, and you see a couple of missing teeth. But as that as well, as she just kind of flips up her dagger really quickly and kind of dances it across her fingers as it disappears back into the folds of her robe.
Mm-hmm. Are you
she says,
finished gallivanting with the locals?
When we're rubbing salve into your sword wounds, you'll be glad I did.
Okay,
yes,
so
sure
mechanically speaking, take 2 minor healing salves.
Okay.
The stats are the following. It is a free action to use.
Okay.
I am going to remove the limit of 1 per campaign, so you guys are welcome to use them as needed.
How many uses are in the container?
1.
Okay.
So 1 use of the container, you can only you're removing the limitation of 1 per campaign, and they do an effect of 10 points of hit point healing.
Nice. Okay. Cool. That's worth it. 10 points, 10 HP healing. Okay. Excellent.
All right.
It's like
okay. It's a third of mine. So yeah.
I think that's half of mine. Yeah.
So Red, I gave 1 to you and kept 1 for myself. Yes, I think it's time we be off.
Are you sure there's no other stalls you'd like to see? A carnival in town or the soothsayer? We have 2 coins left.
Oh.
No, Red. No.
Someone's in quite a hurry. Are you looking to kiss Maddox's ass tonight before we're done?
If that's what I'm paid to do, then yes.
Really?
Well,
I didn't know that you were a prostitute, Alice.
By all means, lead the way.
Wherever the coin goes, Red. And he starts walking towards the bridge.
Yeah, I'll give Red a look and then follow a couple steps behind him.
Yeah, Red follows and says something. You know, in many places, that's considered a more honorable profession than killing people.
It's a horse apiece as far as I'm concerned.
The oldest one.
That's what they say. But who paid for it then?
He just like snarks over his shoulder.
I imagine this kind of like continues as they head down the road.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Like I think like Nalos has realized the corner he's backed himself into, and he's doing his best to uppity snark his way out of said corner, probably to no avail.
But as we approach the bridge, I'm going to tell Red if he's still yammering to kind of quiet down as we approach, so we can.
Yeah, I think it's definitely one of those things where like he's a trained noble person or works for one, so he has that air of superiority. But in the face of 2 actual like sellswords and more of the grunt mentality, his wit is sharp, but not as his jokes aren't as base. So he's out of his element in this scenario.
So, given all of this sort of narrative sort of just dropped into about Nalos, I have one quick question for you. Mm-hmm. Would you see him as more of sort of the person that would be trained to handle the social situation?
So as a steward of a mysterious house that we will name at a later date for narrative purposes, he is... So if you have the noble family and then you have the staff... He's everything in between. He's this equivalent of like your man-at-arms. So he would be a trained soldier, he's a trained tactician, but also he can buttle and he can do all of the rest of the things around the house. So like if it's we're going into town today, Jeeves is Nalos, and he would accompany the young lord and or lady into town as both a bodyguard and a just-in-case situation kind of happens.
Okay.
So he's not unaccustomed to speaking. Like in the event that like, oh, we need something from this town, you can go fetch it for us. Obviously, they trust him enough to go on whatever this very important mission might turn out to be.
Okay.
So he's not unaccustomed to speaking with them. Although this time he's trying to be as base as possible because of the desire to keep this under wraps.
All right, totally makes sense.
Clearly, he's not doing great at it.
Yeah. We'll see what happens when he gets to Maddox.
Yeah.
Love the out of the element a bit. You're playing it terrific.
All right. So the 3 of you continue past the rest of the vendors as they're trying to hawk their wares, and you move out of the square and begin to head towards the bridge that leads you towards the Hacksaw Bridge itself, which is sort of the connecting point between the greater part where the square is and Gelspar itself. And so the streets are largely deserted as you approach Hacksaw Bridge. Only a few sheets of metal separate you from the vast abyss below. The bridge itself is a dilapidated structure of wood and sheet metal running between two of the larger vessels that make up the slum's core. To the left, on your side of the bridge, two bodies slump against a building only a few feet from the edge. One drunken turn and they will fall off into the abyss.
I'm scouting the bridge.
Nalos turns back and looks to Talon and says, friends of yours.
I don't know them from Piss.
No, I assumed you knew them from Piss.
I would never let my guard down like that, so they're no friends of mine.
Fair.
Shall we help them?
The drunkards.
I gotta look at them. No one's paying me to.
They think they've helped themselves over and over and over again. To a point of that.
Not my slum, and I'm not the police. I'm not the order. We got to, as Nalos is so keen on doing, we have a different job to take care of. We should maybe have to be on our way. But Red, feel free if you want to get close enough to brave the stench, I'm sure.
No, we can do the job. Just thought I'd ask.
No one's stopping you. Well, Nalos might, though. I think if his foot tapped any faster, he'd probably bolt across the bridge and go.
He'd probably break the bridge.
See Maddox by himself.
Johnny, what do we know? So Elise, kind of alluded to the fact that this bridge is known for, what sounded to be the smack dab middle of some gang war happening. What do we, as residents of the city, know about this area? Do we have any kind of knowledge of this, generic or specific?
All right, so this gets into a question that I think for each of you, we can talk a little bit vaguely about this, sort of more of the character's sort of backstory. Mm-hmm. I think for Nalos, since he is a part of a noble household, it's more than likely he has very little dealings inside of Gelspar itself, right? So anything that you would know would be by reputation. Yeah. You would know that the chasers. Actually, I'm going to give you a little bit more detail given the circumstance, and we'll build it into the backstory later. Or we'll build into the story itself. But so for Nalos, he would know that Hacksaw Bridge is one of the sort of the choke points in territorial battles. And as Elise sort of hinted at, it changes hands often. And because of that, it is often a place of, it is often sort of like a where scuffles and, different types of engagement actually happen over the bridge. Right now, the bridge actually looks deserted, so it's not really clear that not only who owns it, but also, or who's responsible for it, but also if there's actually anybody there. Like there's any type of engagement. And to allude back to what Talon specifically said, Talon, I'm going to need you to give me a roll for scouting the area for the bridge.
All right.
That is going to be a stealth check.
Oh, okay. Crap, not my best score.
I think while he is scouting, Nalos knows enough to see what he's doing, and with that given reputation of what Hacksaw Bridge is known for, almost on Red's cue of should I go over there and help him, he walks over towards the two drunkards, except it's that same slow, somber walk that Nalos has had the whole time, and you see him heft up his polearm a good 6 feet and grab it by the base as he jabs out, not stabbing, but pokes the drunkards to get their attention. And
rolls them right off the edge. No.
Yeah, well, if that works, that works.
Okay.
Gelspar beautiful. No.
Yeah. Make Gelspar great again, right?
Yeah.
Oh God.
Build the bridge.
I made my roll, so you can either do Nellos first or myself, whichever you prefer.
I'm going to resolve what Talon does first as Nellos just moves over to make this particular point. Okay, so you made your roll. You begin to kind of sort of scout around, kind of taking in the situation.
Yeah.
Does anybody else want to actually take a look at the setting as well, or is it just, does anybody else want to sort of scout the area, or is it just Nalos doing his thing with the drunkards and Talon doing the thing with
I think Red is gonna like kind of survey the scene and just kind of try to see if anything is like hidden or out of place.
All right, well, give me a stealth check as well.
Okay. I too am not good at stealth. I was aiming for insight.
This is one of those points where donations work really well. Oh wow, okay.
That's true, but very well, very good. Yeah, I'm not. Stealth is not my forte.
Okay. So, Nalis, we'll get to you in just a second. You begin to kind of explore the area sort of surrounding as Nalis begins to take an interest in the drunkards and starts to move over there. You look around at the bridge itself and the buildings towards the side, both the left and the right, of the road leading towards the bridge itself. You're about to conclude your investigation when you catch the slightest movement out of the corner of your eye. A cloud of smoke and shadows slowly takes shape beneath an overhang. You can barely make out the shape of a monstrous hound that seems to melt into the darkness. And I'm going to switch over on the game table and show you guys what it is that we're actually looking at. And so the hound takes off as soon as it realizes it's been spotted. A second joins a moment later. Two beasts bound across the bridge and slip into the shadows on the other side. There may be danger ahead, but you should not have to worry about getting ambushed from behind.
And I quietly, Red, how far away are you from me at this point? Like if you're looking over the bridge, probably just like a few feet, a few steps maybe?
Yeah, probably not terribly far.
Okay. Did you see that?
Red just nods.
Nalos, quit playing with your new friends and get over here.
He continues to jab at them. He gives them a few good... I mean, it's a pointy end, right? So he gives them a few pokes at the pointy end, as it were, Johnny.
As you were walking up, you notice that their breathing is shallow and sort of infrequent. But as you kind of step up and begin to poke them, one begins to stir and kind of looks up. What? What do you want?
He kind of waves the tip of the polearm like towards his face. Get out.
We were here first.
He pokes him again. Get up and go away.
Give me an intimidate roll.
Okay. Pretty sure I'm not great at that. Let's see here. 8. Cool.
And do it at advantage.
With advantage. All right, let's see here. D20. Slowest. Nope, both of them fail. Perfect.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
The one waking
Actually,
up.
you know what? Could I argue to change that to leadership?
Say something else, and I will definitely give you a leadership.
Oh man!
Say something else that fits
everything I have to say is intimidating. Shit. Yeah. So he looks across, and I think there's no. I guess that would be fast talk. Shit. Yeah. I don't know how to spin this to leadership. He looks to the two of them and says, "He says, get up and get out. There could be trouble on this bridge, and both of you look too drunk to handle yourselves. And I'm not about to protect you. So protect yourselves." And he kind of like flicks the polearm in the direction he wants them to go away in.
And so your leadership is what? What's your leadership
14.
score? Okay. So with that second one at advantage, you communicate it to all of this then. He kind of looks up, kind of looks in the direction that you're pointing. Elbows his friend. Let's go. And he starts to explain, and he comes in grunts and grumbles. This guy, get away, trouble. Let's go get a drink. They both slowly get up, and just as they're stepping up, they see the two hounds sort of dash across the bridge and immediately just book it as they realize that there actually is trouble brewing.
So as Nalus sees the hounds, Red looks over and says, "See, Nalus, I warned you. The path is not so simple after all. Oftentimes, the path through the mountain that seems the safest is not at all the one that will lead you through."
Did you make that up right now?
Well, no.
Did you literally travel the mountain pass and realize it wasn't the safest?
I've done that, but that saying is from the monastery.
Oh.
But like you said that it was just 100 yards, it would be nice and easy. And I warned you that things are not always that simple.
Right.
So now you will see in the future.
Yeah. So, Talon, take gold, point, sword, thrust.
I don't know. After that performance, the military order of Adriel is always looking for sewer cleaners. I think you may have missed your calling.
John, you can stay.
Wow.
Totally stay.
Wow.
Takes his head and starts off across the bridge.
I think Nalos actually just stops. Right? He lifts the spear and lets it slide back down his hand and thunk into the ground, and he just stops and watches for a second. Because not only has he never been talked down to like that, he also can't just stab this guy to death. So he's dumbfounded. This is not real life. This just didn't happen right now. So he just stands there for a minute and blinks and just watches Talon cross the bridge.
Well, at the edge, I'm going to look from through. You going to pick your jaw up the floor and follow, or are you just going to stand there all night? You're the one who wanted to see medics, remember? Let's go. Come on, Red.
As the party begins to move. Sorry, go ahead, Red.
No, I was just saying I went.
As the party begins to move across the bridge, a shrill scream pierces the night. Across the other side of the bridge, a woman scrambles into view. A chorus of barks and howls erupting behind her. She gasps for breath as she staggers across the bridge towards you. "Please," she shrieks. "Anyone, help." A moment later, you see the creatures chasing her. They look like the same hounds that just bound across the bridge. This time, there are 3 large, misshapen hounds emerging from the shadows of the alley beyond on the other side of the bridge. The woman stumbles halfway across, falling with a crunch and crying with pain. Her knees buckle as she attempts to stand. The 3 beasts close in on all sides, their hungry jaws open, revealing massive protruding fangs in front of serrated rows of teeth. They snap and lunge at the woman, but seem to be waiting for some kind of signal before moving in for the kill. What do you guys do?
None of my business.
The creatures are in the way, though.
They're after her, not us. I'm assuming the bridge is wide enough if we keep our distance, we can get around it. I said, not my slum, not my citizens.
Yeah, Red's moving forward. His spear drops from kind of the lazy way he's holding it over his shoulder more into his hand as the beads begin to unravel from it, and he sort of holds them out in his other hand. I think he's
I kind of give him kind of an arched eyebrow, like if we've done this before.
Yeah, and Red just looks back and gives you a confused look, then looks back and says, "You would leave her to die, Talon."
She ain't paying me to save her. As we all said, we have a job to do. I don't see if this is it.
The growls are increasing, and the jaws of the hounds are snapping at her as she's screaming.
Yeah, Red like is like moving as he's saying this, and he says, "This is what I was trying to make you two understand at the way. The way forward is not always so obvious, but we're here for a reason." And he puts his hands together, he makes some sort of strange symbol with his hands, and he's going to try to use his blood sealing magic to restrict the movement of one of these creatures. And I don't really know how that works, because this was one of the things I was saying, is I don't really know how like any of the stuff I can do in combat interacts with not combat. So
well,
tell me.
We can definitely talk. We can definitely figure out what's happening with that. But when you begin to do the hand movements, is there anything else that becomes apparent about you physically that kind of stands out? Do you glow a little bit? Is there your beads emanate a sound? What's going on?
So that sort of happens. It all sort of happens together. So he puts his hands together in sort of this finger bending pattern. That sort of interwinds the beads amongst his hands as well. And I think like a ringing sound, like a chime, chimes out as well. And I think it's probably hard to tell, especially at first, but that maybe since Talon and Nalos have seen Red use his magical abilities before, it's a little bit more obvious. It's like there's almost something seeming to sort of like coalesce in the darkness behind him, almost as though something is sort of hanging out behind his shoulder, watching over him. Becomes a little bit more present. And honestly, like, I think maybe the surreal thing is it's that feeling of like, it's not really there, but the more it becomes there, the more you kind of go, well, what, maybe that was there the whole time. It's very surreal. Like, the more you look at it, the less you see it. And then it's only really visible out of the corner of your eye. So it's hard to tell if it was always there and you're just now noticing it.
Okay. And so just real quickly before anything else happens, Talon's made the choice that he's not interested. Red's made the choice that he's interested. What's going on with Nalos?
Nalos he's of the same mindset as Talon, right? He has a job to do, although he's not just going to let Red walk into the fangs of several monstrous wolfhounds to get eaten. So if they start attacking him, he's going to have to interject. This mission is far easier with people than without people, clearly. So he doesn't want any of them to die for the sake of the ease of this mission and getting back home as quickly as possible.
Okay, so Red, as you begin to make the gestures, and Nalos sort of begins to step forward and kind of supports you as Talon walks on, you see across the bridge, stepping out from the shadows, a cowled man with a face painted like a skull, and he steps into view at the opposite end of the bridge. And when he does so, you see that there's a difference in the way that the hounds sort of respond to him. As you see him as he's appearing on the game table now. And he steps forward with a steady pace, a leather whip in one hand and a gleaming dagger in the other. The woman looks at you, eyes desperate and making an appeal. You hear a growl from the man in the cowl with the painted face from the opposite side. It's loud and just sort of it rolls over you on top of the growls of the hounds. "This doesn't concern you," the man says. "We're all friends here. Now move along before somebody gets hurt. Wouldn't want to upset the boss." You are quite certain you've never seen this man before in your entire life. And the woman screams, please. The woman pleads, barely audible, her voice barely audible above the growling hounds. How can you be so cruel? Go ahead, Sam. You're going to get a surprise round on this, and then we're going straight into combat.
Okay. Well, in that case, I got to do something slightly different because I realized that the thing I wanted to do is to need someone else to do a thing first so that I can counter it. So instead of that, I think he's like, as he's walking forward, he Red like whips out the spear, and it's sort of this long blade spear that's meant for cutting as well. He whips it out seemingly sort of way out of range, and I'm going to use my. Let me just get the name right here because it's the first time using the ability. The Kie strike. So that basically turns my normal basic attack into a ranged attack. And also lets me get some bonuses. So basically, +2 to cap check for Kie strike, 1 per round. Whenever you are required to make a basic attack, you may make a Kie strike instead.
Okay. So with this in mind, I'm going to switch this over to the encounter map. So we're going to bring that up first. You guys should now see that.
Yep.
All right. Next up, I'm going to drop your tokens on the screen. Hello. Why is this not working for me? There we go. Right there. All right. So let's drop your tokens, and then you guys can place them. You should be able to control them. And that's not working. All right. Hold on a second, guys. There's the tactician, and then there's Talon. All right.
There we go. Yep.
Oh, well, got 2 of those. Let's remove one of them. I'm going to scale these real quick, guys, and you should be able to control them where you would start.
I cannot control mine.
I think he's supposed to sign it. Or let me see. Nope, I don't have it either.
Because you're out of control.
Yeah.
Hold on just one second, guys. Wait, come on. I'm just going to assign them to all players so that they actually work at this point. That way it just comes up. Why is it not working for me? Okay, so all players. Sorry about the little delay, guys, here. Okay, Red, go ahead and try yours right now. See if you can actually control it now.
Yep, I got it.
Seems like Nalus should be able to control his, and then Talon, we need to fix yours. All right, try yours, and then just go ahead and you should be able to rescale them to down to like 65 by 65, or I can do that.
I think you're gonna have to. I can move it though, so that's good.
Yeah.
All right, so move them back towards one of the squares at the sort of the bottom of the bridge, and kind of let us set it up where you would expect to be Red.
I just need to be within. It would be just like whenever he's within 5 of this creature. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, like right about there is.
Okay, so yeah, you're gonna get a surprise attack in this particular round, and then we'll do the initiative order. And I'll bring that up in just a second. All right, so go ahead and so is that a roll, or is that an ability?
It's basically when I make a basic attack, and correct me if I'm wrong, but what it seems like is when I make a basic melee attack, I can use my like spiritualist abilities to activate the Kie strike, where I essentially like extend the range of the attack.
Yeah, pretty much. It's like using your chi to attack at a distance. Exactly. You get +2 to your penetration. You can do it once per round, and it can take the place of any basic attack. That is correct.
Right. So
and
basically,
it is a slow action, just to remind you.
Yeah. So basically, like what I'm imagining this looks like is like I said, like Red like whips out his spear in sort of this strange arc, and it seems like it would just be this ridiculous, ineffectual attack. But then there's sort of this like flash of light as it, whatever it is seems to be making some sort of contact. There is some sort of blow and some sort of slashing that seems to be directed at this creature. It's visible, but it's visible in the way that like it seems as though the metal itself is extended. It's like the glint of the metal is just going farther than it should. And as he does this, he looks out to the person who seems to be in charge, and he says, "Of course, it's my business. All are responsible for all." And I will roll to see if I am successful.
Please do that.
Hell. That's what Talon says to that. For a mercenary, this monk gets me into more trouble than I can think about.
Okay, 13 is not great for me, I think. I need to be below my A, right?
Yes.
All right, I'm not below my A. Question. Theoretically, through power-ups, my like P number could be higher than my A number.
Right. Like, for example, you have +2 to your P right now.
Right. So I'm only at 8. But like if it was higher, what happens there?
You just got to beat whatever the highest number is. So since your P would kind of how I explain this, critical is of course the gold standard. Accuracy is the minimum you're looking for, and your penetration is what you'd like to have to penetrate their defenses. Right. If your P is higher than your accuracy, then guess what? That takes care of the number if you get below.
Gotcha. Cool. All right.
Yep.
Okay. Cool. Yeah. So it whips out, and for whatever reason, does not do shit.
Okay. Well, it's at the edge of your range.
So the attack happens, it goes off. You, as it lands and it misses the one hound that you're aiming for, and you're aiming for this one, right? I'm pinging it on the map now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So as you're doing that, it turns and kind of growls at you a little bit, and you see the rows of serrated teeth as its mouth just kind of opens up. And you see sympathetic responses of growling from the other hounds, sort of farther back. And now we're going to go into initiative order. Okay. And so the way the initiative works is there are slots. There is an initial hero slot, and then there is a group of foes that will go. And those group of foes that go after the first initiative, the hero initiative slot, is the grunt foes. And those are actually represented by the hounds that are on the table. So there are 3 hounds that are on the table, and they will go at that particular point. Then there will be another hero slot. Once after that hero slot, then the awakened foes will come or will get a turn to actually make their move or take their action or what have you. That is going to be represented by the Hound Master, who is at the top of the screen where I'm pinging right here. Okay. And then there's another hero slot. And because there are no more foes of any particular rank, once we get through the 3rd player, we're going to jump right back to the top of the cycle, and who was ever in the first player slot. Now, the player hero order can switch up based on needs. So if it's something situationally changes, you guys can reorder yourselves. But the grunts and the awakened foes are always going to go at the same slot. So just that kind of gives you an idea. So who would like to be in the first hero slot for this round?
I should not be in the first slot because I have stuff that can make you guys more betterer.
More betterer?
More betterer.
Most of my stuff is only really useful like after other stuff has happened in the combat. Yep. So
unless Nels has any really burning desire, I'll go first.
Okay, so all right, so Talon is going to be in the first one.
Nalos does prefer going first, only because his whole shtick is tactical combat and deploying where to go. So unlike Red, his abilities work before you do attacks to make you betterer.
So Nalos is going to go first. Yeah. Then is that what I'm hearing?
That's
okay,
fine.
Then the grunt foes are going to go, and then I guess Talon is going to be second.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, and then we'll have awakened foes, and then red is going to go third, and then we'll go back to the top of the initiative order.
Mhm.
I've got Dot's character on there for next week, and I've also got the other slots for the other types of foes, but we won't be working with those. We're just going to go right back to the top. So
Now, remind me, what amount of actions do you have every turn in combat?
4 quick actions, 2 slow actions. And you can make a combination of like you can do 1 slow action and 2 quick actions. Is that correct, John?
It's fast actions, but yes. Otherwise, everything else you said was correct.
Yeah.
How many free actions do you have?
Free action is free as long as it's not limited by 1 per entity. You can use as many times as you have the ability to do so. So there you go. Keep in mind that's limited by, like, if it's a free trigger, you can only use it up to your trigger limit. If it's a free sustain, if it's a free amplify, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
By the way, real quick, I have to correct myself. I was Derek is watching our stream, and he actually reminded me of something I didn't know, that if your penetration is higher than your accuracy, those points are actually wasted because you still need to make your accuracy check in order to hit something.
Oh.
I was not aware of that. Now I am. So you
This
guys
is good to know, man. This makes some of the abilities I have a lot less strong than I realized. Good to know.
Yeah. So there. Exactly. Yep. So yeah. Okay. If we're all set, I think we can start. Is that correct?
Cool. Yeah,
that is correct.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, now let's
rock and roll.
You go first.
All right. So he is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So he's basically going to charge the field and put himself, boom, right in front of red. And in doing so, you see like his left arm kind of fly, and the shemagh that was draping over him sort of shifts from over his left side to over his back now. And with that arm, the shield comes up, and in almost like one trained fluid motion, you see that the pole arm goes on top of the shield in a notch, and he basically is a one-man phalanx in front of red. And he looks back over his shoulder, and I'm going to activate the free ability. I believe that's what it's called. Yeah, free ability, which is an exploit. It's called Insightful Leader. So he looks back over his shoulder to Talon and shouts, "Remember, just kill them faster." And now you may use a fast action as a free action on your turn.
Amazing.
Sweet. Okay.
So you can do that. Let me see here. So that was that.
Is that a sustained effect?
No, it's just a general exploit I can use once per round.
So my next fast action is basically a free action.
It's a free action. So yeah, you can essentially use five quick actions.
Damn cool.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, I'm going to ask that if you're going to use that again, make sure that you just state that you're using that again.
Yeah, that's one of his like things is like tactical whatever, right? So he's pretty much going to use that at all times, as often as possible, right? Unless he's in dire straits. Okay, so 4 fast, and that is a ranged. That doesn't work. Doesn't work either. The rest are triggers. Okay, cool. 2 slows. Let's see here. Valiant Strike. That is a melee. Cool. This is it. This is all he's going to do. He is going to use his maneuver, which is the guide maneuver. And I am going to make a skill check based on leadership, which is a 14. And nail it, I think.
Nice.
Tie goes to the thing, right? As long as you got a meter beat, right? And if I succeed, one hero gains advantage on his or her next roll. So Talon, he points back to you and he says, "Remember, kill them faster." And then he points and says, "And kill that one." And he points to the closest hound.
Just bossy.
Believe me, I'll have an answer for him soon enough.
And he with the shield kind of like plugged into the ground and the polearm over the top, he reaches up under the shemagh and throws his hand over the shield, and out goes one of the blades towards one of the monsters. I think, right? That's within 3 squares, unless I do my math terrible.
He's just outside your range, unfortunately.
He's just outside. Okay, yeah. Never mind. In that case, yeah, he does it. You see him.
I have a feeling he'll be on you soon enough.
Yeah, I'm sure. But that's it for me. That's it for my turn.
Okay. So foes go now, or sorry, grunts go now, and so that means the first of the bloodhounds. All right. So he is going to move 3 squares like that. So basically 1, 2, 3, and he's going to make a basic attack on Nalos. And let's see, it's going to be a bite attack versus your toughness.
Okay, that's
an
8.
So,
well, he gets a chance to dodge first. Unless I'm reading it wrong. I think I can't remember if the hounds have an attack that avoids that. Does he have auto hit?
no, he does not have auto hit. He can make a dodge.
He gets to dodge first. Yes, that's correct.
So how does dodge work? I need to
roll under your dodge skill on a D20.
Got it. Cool.
Right, because the GM doesn't actually roll anything. You actually do the roll.
My dodge skill is 8.
Excellent. So you dodge.
High dodge.
Right, and so
he obviously put points into it.
Absolutely. So he just you see the jaws just kind of come out and snap at you, but you're able to kind of pull back and you feel
you got the big shield too. So there you go.
Right, but he feels the heat of the breath as it kind of just as it exhales as it's trying to attack you, but the shield just kind of rebuffs the hound, and he's just sort of left staggering there, and so the second one moves forward 5 slots that way. And then the third one is going to go there, moving forward, which leads us to Talon.
Right. Did I type that wrong? Hang on, I gotta check something because that'll change what I do. Just a second. All right, I just gotta check one thing real quick. It could be 1 second. I'll try to be fast about it.
That's okay. While you figure that out, I figured out that I was wrong, and I have a 4 dodge. So Johnny, go ahead and deal me some damage.
Ooh,
I did also type
let's
that
rewind that a little bit.
I also typed that wrong.
Okay.
So now an 8 is my toughness.
Your 8 is the toughness. Jesus. Okay.
There you go.
All right. So.
Oh no, you'll do some chomp on him.
Oh, there's going to be a lot of chomp actually. It's going to be 1 plus 10.
Oh.
Yeah, they don't mess around.
19.
Is that how much damage I take? So remind me how damage in combat works.
That minus your toughness.
There you go.
So 11. All right.
Mm-hmm.
That hurt.
Yep.
I'm fine.
You're fine. Okay. So 11 damage. All right. Mm-hmm. So the dog pushes past your shield and chomps at you, fangs grazing part of your flesh through your armor. Talon, what are you doing for us?
Yep. Well, I guess that shield's less than decoration. So yeah. All right. I'm going to move. Okay. So I'm going to move first. Come on. I said I'm going to move first. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to use, hopefully this is going to work. I'm going to use that free action he gave me to focus, which if I do a focus skill check and it's successful, I get +1 die to next damage or healing action.
Nice.
I want to be able to hit it. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to save that. Wait, you said that advantage is on the next roll, or can I wait and use it when I wish?
It's on your next roll.
Well, I guess it's going to be on my focus skill check. So there we go. I just hope I don't miss with it. But I want to take the free. I got a 12. I should be able to do it. So let's find out. All right, so we're going to go for it. It's the 20. Come on. Really? What the hell? If I can drag to roll the dice,
there you go.
Oh my God. Nope.
Oh,
all right,
you have the thing on.
Yeah, that was not what I wanted. I wanted to see the dice. I said I wanted enable 3D dice. I guess I don't want that. That was sucky. Okay, if I want to see them, I wasn't seeing them roll earlier. Does that automatically roll 3D dice?
I think you need the premium account. The GM needs a premium account for that.
Oh, okay. All right.
Let me just say, do you want me to enable the dice for you?
Could you please? I just like to see it. Yeah. What can I say? Well, that sucked. Sorry.
It's enabled.
It was advantage. Wait, I get to roll again because it's advantage.
Mm-hmm.
Hang on. All right. Watch. I'll make this and miss my freaking attack. Okay. And that second one, I said the second one. No, the second is an 11, which is okay. Wait, 11, which is under. Okay, what the hell? Okay, that'll do. That's fine. I rolled an 11 on the d20, so I made my check. So now I have +1 die to next damage or healing action.
Okay.
And now I'm going to I have to make just pretty much a basic attack with, wait. No, I don't have to. I'm going to do let's see. So that was a slow action and a free. I have either 2 fast or 1 slow left.
That's correct.
I am going to do a staccato strike. If I do hit this foe with melee action, I can make a basic melee attack as a free action. So I got to roll first to see if I actually hit the damn thing. And that is down here, basic melee attack sword. Oh, that's damage, not roll. Sorry, getting ahead of myself. That is, I have to put the 20 side. I'll do that later. Yes, that is absolutely, and it penetrates. So
nice.
Because I'm well below now. So now I get to roll. Let's see, do I have that in with toughness and all that stuff? It's actually 3d10 plus 2.
Wow.
24 points.
Wow. Okay. So,
hang on. I'm sorry, I'm not done. I get to make my second basic melee attack as a free action with staccato strike, so I get to attack him again.
Okay.
So hold this. So 24 points of damage minus whatever his toughness is, and go again.
Well, you made piercing, right? So that goes through his toughness.
Oh, that's true. He takes it all, and I just hit him again with a 6, and that's now going to be back down to 2d10 plus 2, 5, so 7 more. That was a shitty roll.
That was a shitty roll, but it was a good first,
So I got carved into him, and then I look over at Dell and say, "Teach your grandfather to suck eggs, do you?" As I just freaking carved this thing with my 2-handed sword.
So your sword kind of comes out, and you just cleave the thing.
Yeah. No shield, armor. Yeah, exactly.
There's a huge gash along the one of the shoulders, and the hound is bleeding profusely. Just it's gushing, right?
Yep. And I think free, fast, and slow will actually have a fast action left. Oh my God. You know what? I think I do.
Oh, geez.
Because he gave me that free, and then, wait. So I used the maneuver. I want to make sure I did this right. Yeah, so the focus was free. My slow was a movement. Staccato strike is fast. I have a fast action left, and I think I'm going to try to take this thing out. So I'm basically going to do the same thing. Yep. All right. So it's D20. 6 again. I think this thing's going to probably be dead. 2d10 plus 2.
Nice.
13. And that penetrates as well.
Right. So, let's see. Wow. So this thing, you take another hit at it, and it's other shoulder is now gashed and it's bleeding, and you can see this thing is having trouble kind of moving, and it's leaning to one side as it's just beginning to whimper, as it's just angry and sort of growling, in an attempt to just kind of snap at anything that's attacking it, but it just is not able to be effective at all. Thus encountering the rage of the Hound Master, who goes next, who moves forward 5 squares next to Hound number 3, and you hear him give some sort of weird whistle sounds, and he activates the ability Unleash.
Hold on.
Trigger happy Sam over here.
I'd like to step in here for a moment.
So, as a free
I'd like to buy a vowel.
As a free action, I would like to use Blood Seal. So the trigger condition is the foe using an action.
Okay.
Basically, what we see happen, I think, is sort of like I said, that sort of aura that you can sort of see and feel a little bit sort of becomes deeper and thicker, almost like a bit more like a fog, as he sacrifices some of his own life force to stop the Hound Master from being able to speak. So like as this figure tries to like give his command, he finds that his voice just won't work.
Nice. Just within range too. Delightful.
That's dope.
Excellent maneuver.
What's the duration of that particular ability?
So it just cancels the action.
It nullifies his action. Basically, the unleash is like
one action.
Just the one action. That's correct.
It's the counterspell move.
Yep, exactly.
It's the counterspell. Okay. And so as he does that, as he begins to make that whistling sound, and he just you hear him just sort of, or you see him begin to make the motion, and it doesn't emanate, and he gets really frustrated, and his cowl, his demeanor on his face, the painted skull on his face gets even more intense as you can see the frustration, wanting him to kind of move forward, but he can't do anything else at this particular point. So it now becomes Red's turn.
Cool.
Was that a free action?
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Jeez,
Yeah.
Still got his full complement of moves. That's fantastic.
It's crazy how good that move.
It is. It's amazing. You know what you're doing. It's incredible.
It's a good one. So then basically what we see is like as like that happens, sort of in one motion, Red like spreads out his beads, and they sort of like flare out a little bit with a rattling noise, and the chime rings out twice, and both Nalos and Red feel themselves rejuvenated, because I'm just going to use Imbue Health, which is a slow action, and I'm just going to use that twice.
Okay.
So I give a D6 plus 5 to Nalos first. Whoops, that's not how you roll dice in this game.
Good.
That's an 11, and then myself second. That's a 1. I recover 6, and Nalos recovers 11.
Dope. I'm back up at full.
Nice.
But yeah, like the air around Red feels just like a little bit heavier after he's taken this damage.
Okay. And so we get back to the beginning of the initiative order, and we find Nalos facing down, fully healed, feeling invigorated, and a sort of a whimpering dog, whimpering hound. That Talon has basically sort of reduced to almost nothing for you. What do you do?
Let's see if I can kill it.
Now that softened up, see if you can finish it off.
Yeah, let me see if I can knock this rest of the way out. So like he's choking up on a pull stick, he kind of like cues the pole arm up, and he's basically gonna jab down at the grunt dog number 1. So remind me how that? Oh, I need to roll against my accuracy, right? That's what that
Pretty
is.
much, you're doing the cap check, yeah. You definitely have to
correct.
want to get it under your accuracy, correct?
I got it under my accuracy and under my penetration. So
Nice.
He's taken all of this.
Yep.
So let's see. Oh, that's not how you roll dice in Roll20, guys. Fun fact. He takes 14. He takes 14 damage.
Plowy.
All right, describe to me what it's like when you remove the life from this particular ringhound.
So, a master of tactics and circumstance, he just sort of, like I said, chokes up on it, stabs down, like probably underneath the head of the beast into like its chest, and just sort of flicks it to the left, and it falls into that hole in the bridge. And he quickly pulls the polearm back out, resets, and rams it into the next one because it has reach, and he's going to stab at the dog number 2.
Dope.
Nice.
So let's see. Nope, that is a miss. Just outside of my range. But he does look back over to Talon, and using both insightful leadership and the other one that I use that I can't remember. Oh yeah, no, just insightful leadership. He looks back over to you, which is the one that turns your fast action to a free action. He nods towards the dog and says, "Why don't you try doing it again?" And he maintains his defensive stance in front of Red.
Nice.
Okay.
Very nice.
All right.
Oh, you know what? That dog is in my range. Fuck that. Yeah, no, he reaches in with the other hand and throws the blade out. I forgot I had that. I forgot it was a fast action for my first range.
I forgot to do that on my turn too.
Yeah. So,
Yep.
get wrecked, dog. No, it's still a miss. The blade scatters across the ground.
Talon just watches all this and says, "Oh, you can fight, sort of."
A bit.
Sort of.
Okay. Fine.
All right, Talon. Sorry, the grunted foe's next.
Are you going to remove number 1 since he's no longer on the table?
No, I'm just he's gone.
Yeah.
How bad does Red look?
Not particular. I mean, like he was. So, like, I mean, you've seen Red fight before, and it's like very bizarre because it's like a lot of him like hurting himself and then regaining, and so it's like depending on whether you maybe have like seen it a little bit more than most people, because it's not like super visible, but he looks like he's in fine shape.
Okay, cool. In that case, I am done.
Okay. That would be the grunts.
Yeah,
that would be the grunts.
Mm-hmm.
As the first grunt moves forward and heads for Talon.
Ballsy.
Ballsy is right. And makes his attack. So
all right.
he's gonna do a bite against you.
Okay, I'll have to roll. So I'll try my dodge, which is I will be honest, is not great. But maybe I'll get lucky. No.
All right. So 1d10 plus 10.
Actually, knowing how hard those... What is Talon in, like... You're in a shitload of armor, right?
I am, but my toughness is not like super terrific.
Okay.
Oh, actually, wait a minute. You know what? Hold on. I get to roll that again because you give me the... No, it's free action. Never mind. Not the other one.
Yeah.
No, I still missed it.
In that case, knowing how strong those bite attacks are and seeing you without a shield and knowing what you can do up close, you see the dog bite at you and then you get shoulder checked from the right. I'm using intercept condition. If a hero is the target of a foe action, cancel that action, and you and the hero swap occupied spaces.
Awesome.
So we shift.
Just making sure, did you have an action left to use that on outside your turn?
I believe it is a free action as a tide turner. Yep.
If it's free, you're good to go. Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, you're going to use your tide turner.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
So he jams you out of the way, basically, and steps over you and just sort of bashes against the wolf.
All right. So did we just switch places, basically?
We did. We swapped places, and now I'm facing the wolf.
Okay. All right, I'll move over unless you move over where I was.
Okay, so just so I understand what's happening here, you just swapped places with him. That means you take.
No.
So
the effect is it cancels your action, and I swap places with them. So basically, I just interpose myself, and you just clang off of the giant shield, and that ends that dog's action.
All right.
Just double checking, Alex. You know the time turners are good for the entire campaign.
Oh, I didn't know that, but that's good to know.
Okay. Well,
Too late now.
I can take the damage if you want to take that back because if you didn't know, I don't want you throwing that off like that.
That's
okay.
fine.
All right, let's go for it. I mean, it's hey, I appreciate it. Don't get me wrong. So
it's a learning.
That is okay. Yeah. So that's a pretty good place to use this, even though. But so as that's happening, the second one moves forward. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now I have a question for you. Who here has the lowest hit points? I believe it's red right now. Is that correct?
Yeah, I'm at 16.
Yep.
Okay, so what's going to happen is, the second bloodhound is moving forward and it executes its special ability, and that special ability is called Pounce.
Ah, crap.
So it can jump or basically move up to 5 spaces. Actually, let me make it on the side. Up to 5 spaces. With a hero towards the hero with the least HP and deal 1d10 plus 10 versus armor. So or versus.
Yeah.
Also,
that one has auto hit, right? Doesn't it?
It does have auto hit. So
yeah. No dodge roll. You just go right to the damage resistance. Yep.
Yeah. Right.
Well, hold on just a second though. There was also the hero was knocked prone versus willpower. So
you do the damage phase first, and then the knocking prone.
Then he'll do the willpower. Okay, great.
Yep, correct. Unless Sam, you got something to counter that.
I'm gonna hold off on countering it. I'm gonna take this one.
Okay.
All right. You're gonna take 13 points of damage.
So then subtract that by my toughness, which is 4. So that's gonna be 9.
Right. So basically, this thing jumps on top of you and just kind of begins to knock you. And now you're gonna roll your willpower and tell us if you're prone or not.
Cool. All right, so I got to beat a 6 here.
Okay, that does not look like you beat it.
I did.
Oh wait, I'm sorry.
One is
yeah, totally.
That one, yeah.
One is good in this game.
All good.
Yeah. All right. So, because I was actually just looking up the prone rules just to make sure I had them correctly. Okay. So you are still standing. The dog's claws just, and mouth are just, they kind of gash into you, but you're still holding yourself up as this thing is doing what it's supposed to be doing. Yeah. And so, go ahead.
So like as he's like, Red sort of like tries to interpose the like haft of his spear, which is still like sort of wrapped up in the beads as well. So we get this like clattering sound as it like rakes across him. And again, like after he gets injured, we feel like just like this heavy weight of his aura sort of increasing and becoming more visible, more present in the area.
Okay.
All right. And so that now we're moving on.
A little creepy.
Very creepy.
Yeah. All right. I got to check something real quick to make sure if I can do this right. It makes a difference as to what I do.
Yes, sir. Blah,
blah, blah. Where the heck? It's not. No, I can't see it. Okay. Screw it. All right. Okay, so I think if I go there, yeah, we have the line crossed through, but that's bigger than I want to move. I don't want to blow a full action on it. Okay, well, first things first, I'm going to, I'm right here, but I want to make sure that dog doesn't get on him. But this is not good enough for flanking, unfortunately. I'm going to do heavy grip. There's +2 penetration, so now my penetration is a 12, equal to my accuracy. Okay. And +1 die type backs D12 to all damage dealing melee actions. So now my sword damage is a D12 instead of a D10.
Nice.
That's a slow action, so I took up half my turn. And you know what? I think I'm just going to try grunting over to Nalos. You're on your own because I got to take this guy out. And so I turned to 3. And I think, let's see. And you said the fast action is a free action. Okay.
That is correct.
I am going to try to do Bone Shatter Blow just because I want to see what happens. And hopefully he can keep himself alive long enough to make it happen. So I'm going to do Bone Shatter Blow. So I got to make my roll first because I'm going to do something kind of cool. I make the roll. Oh, wait, that's nope, that's a 6. It's penetrated, of course. I am going to blow my free action to do 2 times my penetration damage, so I automatically do 24 damage to it.
24 damage to hound number 2?
Number 3. Tactician boy's got 2. I got to make sure he stays off our spiritualist so he doesn't die. Okay. Yeah.
All right, so 24 damage immediately to number 3.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right, so
slow. I just want to double check. Slow and that. And I think that was a free action to do. Hold on. Wait. Did I do that wrong? Hold on a second. I may have screwed up.
Okay.
Slow. No. Slow, slow, and free. I'm done. Yeah, that's it. That's all I want to do.
All right. So your blades kind of swings out, and again you kind of catch the hound across the back, and you slash, exposing a little bit of its spine, and the sinew of muscle under it, as it kind of turns and kind of growls at you, kind of gaining, focusing on you. And
yeah, exactly. Come on, mutt. Let's dance.
All right. And so as that's happening, the Houndmaster now gets to move. So he's moving 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
This is probably going to be the problem.
Yes. And so as he makes his move into range, he then executes Disarming Lash, which is one of his special abilities. And he is going to deal...
I'm going to stop this one.
Sam says no.
Okay, go ahead.
The power of the spiritualist.
So again, this guy tries to act. He tries to I'm guessing it was using the lash based on the description. And I think this time we see Red almost fall to his knees as he uses his magic to restrict this guy's ability to move. And we begin to see he's bleeding pretty heavily, both from his wounds that he's taken, and from, it seems like some extra wound has opened up on his back from whatever he's doing, but he is able to counter this guy's ability to move. Now, my question here is rounding. Do I round down or round up in general? Because I have 7 HP and I'm supposed to cut it in half.
I think we're rounding. I think that the rules aren't very specific, but I think there was some discussion about rounding down previously.
Actually, I think it's always supposed to be advantage to the player. So in this case, you round up.
Okay.
Okay, let's do that then.
Yeah. I believe it's always when in doubt, just whatever would advantage the player more. So you'll have 4 left.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right. Well, that was cool because I know that ability, and it's a pretty nasty one.
Sorry, Johnny.
Especially since it was coming at Talon. So
yeah.
Well, so what's interesting about that is he flicks out the this is the second of his 3 actions. Basically, he's made his move action. He's coming in to deal this disarming lash against Talon, and as he does this with his weird sort of flick, you see him focus. Yep. You see him focus on Red as Red falls, and he's unable to kind of like execute this.
Actually, I got to jump in here real quick. Somebody need to keep forward. You still need to make the cap check on that. Just because it's a free action doesn't mean you can't. You have to roll to hit, basically. So I apologize. I did not mention that earlier, as I should have done.
My ability?
Yes. Any offensive action, pretty much, is you still have to make the cap check to make sure the spell. It's not like D&D. You have to make the cap check to make sure.
Oh, so the exploit doesn't just go off.
Correct. Okay. Yeah, that's a little too powerful to have it just ding.
Yeah. No, that makes way more sense actually. Let me do that first.
Sorry about that. I should have caught that myself.
Now, if I fail, do I still lose my HP?
Yes.
Okay.
Because you're executing the ability.
Yeah, if actually you missed, you can't take it back. Yeah.
No. I just wanted to make sure. That's what I figured, but I wanted to make sure. All right, cool.
So do you make the cap check on basically everything unless it's passive? Is that what?
You don't have to do it on healing, basically, but yeah, pretty much. If it's also anything but passive and healing, that's about right.
Okay, so even if like that insightful leader thing where I give you your
well that's a buff to me. You don't have to do a cap check on your allies.
Okay, so no. Yeah. Okay, so on allies,
not on heroes. Only on anything that lands on foes has to have a check.
Dope. Okay,
correct. Cool. That's a good rule going forward. That's correct.
So my accuracy is 10, and yeah.
Okay, you rolled a 10. Whew, okay.
You rolled a 10.
You take the points. We're all good. Okay.
Right. So he swings his whip, and makes the attempt. Watches Red kind of buckle to his knees as he's unable to actually kind of get off this particular attack, and you can see the frustration and knowledge just sort of hit him as he realizes that Red, you were doing something that he to affect the way that he is actually, attempting to do what he does best. And with that, he takes his third action and uses the whip at range, it has a range of 3, and makes an attack against your toughness.
Good. That's good. So I roll because I always roll. Nope.
Oh, that's not good.
Down goes the healer.
Okay, so this is a little unclear at this particular point. I'm gonna say there's no way that from the roll that you're going to actually survive this.
How much did you fail by?
7.
Oh, by 7? Jesus Christ.
It's okay. We'll be fine.
Yeah, I can't help you. If it was like 4, I could help you.
So was he hold on, was he just doing a basic melee attack?
It was a basic melee attack using the whip.
Okay, did you do your dodge roll?
Actually, go ahead and roll your dodge.
I mean, you take 6.
Yeah, you take. I mean, you still take the hit if you miss it. But,
roll your dodge.
No, I missed it. It's still 10, so I still missed it by 4. I can re-roll if you want, but.
Oh, I see. 10 and 11. I'm sorry. Wait, what was the 11 for?
You know what?
I'm sorry. I rolled the 10 for the blood seal and then the 11 for the dodge. I'm sorry.
Red, this is the perfect time for you to just roll it again. Just do me a favor and let's see what happens.
All right.
11.
15.
I'm dead.
He's down. He's down. He's fallen. That's what's happened. That's what's happened.
Yes, exactly.
Like, you know,
so the whip goes out, and it's going to do 1d10 plus 10. So at this point, there's no way that you're not going to be able to resist the damage in any way, shape, or form. So the whip comes out and sort of cracks across your back, hitting like one of the open gaping wounds on you, sending you crumpling completely to the ground. And you see a satisfied look sort of come over the Houndmaster's face.
So here's the thing, though. Is that on Red's person, gifted to him by the head of his monastery before he went out into the greater world, is a charm of perseverance. And I chose the ability for my keepsake that would, when reduced to 0 HP, one time, the first time, regain 1 and a +10 to barrier until the start of next turn.
Not gonna
Okay, so wait a minute. Let's be clear about this again. It does what specifically? It gives you a +10 to your barrier.
So it's on 79.
Mm-hmm.
It's in the health series.
Okay.
It says, when reduced to 0 HP for the first time, retain 1 HP instead and gain +10 barrier until the start of your next turn. So basically, I think the idea is it just keeps you from immediately popping up and then going back down.
All right, Red. So you fall to your knees. You're starting to crumple. But what does it look like when Red just feels invigorated with 1 ounce of life left? What does that situation look like?
Yeah, man, that's a good question. So he definitely like falls to one knee for sure as this whip like lashes him. And I think like what he does is he does the thing that they always do in movies when they're fighting someone with a whip, where they kind of like grab onto it and use it to like pull themselves up. You know what I mean? So it's like he's got like the blood coming out of his hand as he like pulls himself up back to his feet. And he at first is sort of like leaning on his spear to be able to get back up to his feet. But as he gets back onto his he regains his feet, and we maybe get like a shot of the little charm. And what I'm imagining this looking like is like a Buddhist or Shinto charm, where it's kind of like a woven little like crest with a symbol on it. I think it glows a little bit within his robes as he draws power from it and is able to stay on his feet.
And so you pull yourself up, getting yourself back to your feet, holding on to the whip, and it's now your turn. What do you do?
Actually, before it's his turn, real quick, when it says an attack at -4, is that your roll like a d20 -4? Or is that like basically a +4 to your, or a -4 to your cap?
What's the ability?
Yeah, what does it read the ability?
Settle the score. So basically, he just got attacked, Red just got attacked, and I'm using my trigger, settle the score. If a target other than the hero, I assume that's me, if target other hero takes damage from a foe, which Red took a lot of damage, that hero makes a basic attack at -4 against that foe as a free action.
-4A. So my accuracy would go down from 10.
Okay.
I would need to beat. So
you need to beat a 6.
You need to beat a 6. If your actually is 10, you need to beat a 6 to do it.
Yeah. Wouldn't that be worse?
That is worse. That's
it's hard.
You get a chance to make an attack, except you're not. I think you're not. Well, you can make. Does he have to do it against the guy who attacked him, or can he just make any basic attack?
So it gives me a free attack. I get
it.
It does give you a free attack. Yeah, it's at a penalty, but it's a free attack.
Yeah, a basic attack against that foe, so he could use his range attack.
He could use range attack against the Houndmaster.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, good point. Good point. Yep.
So you basically can get up and as a free action throw one of your blades right now.
Yeah, no, actually what I think happens is he gets up and makes a lunging slash with the spear, and I'm going to use my Kie strike to extend it out.
It has to be a basic attack though.
Yeah.
No, you said
I can use it in
place of any basic. You are correct.
Oh,
yeah.
Yep. Cool. Nice.
Yeah, so
Please hit.
I will try to not fuck this up. So this time I need to beat a 6, and my P is higher than my A. So if I hit, it's real good, and I don't. So yeah, I whip out my spear, and I try to slash at him with the long bladed spear extended with the power of my chi, and it's just not enough.
Obviously, your chi is out of balance.
Yeah, clearly.
So it's a sort of like a lashing out attack. You just, it's almost this response as you kind of lash out. But in that moment, in that lashing out, it kind of steps the Houndmaster back just, a step, giving you a moment to kind of focus yourself and allow you to take the actions that you're going to take for your round.
Nice.
Yeah.
There you go. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So first things first, I would like to heal myself.
I wonder why.
So let's do that. 1d6 plus 5.
And that's a slow action, right?
That is a slow action.
Okay.
All right. So that helps me a little bit. And then as my second thing that I want to do, I don't know that I have a lot else other than attacking here.
Keep in mind, you can use multiples of the same thing. You could heal yourself again if you wished. I want to make sure you're aware of that.
That's true.
It's probably a good idea.
Yeah, I'm going to do that. I'm going to go ahead and just double heal on this one.
I'm not sure I can be everywhere at once. So,
So we're gonna just heal myself twice, and we'll
there you go.
Back up to 18 HP.
You're back up to 18. Okay.
Yeah.
So go ahead. No, go ahead. What you were going to say?
I was going to say, so again, I think when he's using his healing magic, we sort of see him making sort of these sort of making the beads dance and shake around him, and we hear the ringing out of the bell as his healing magic takes hold.
Okay. And so as we kind of switch up to the beginning of the round again, before Nalos is able to make his attack, the Houndmaster, assessing the situation, gives a high-pitched whistle. And off in the distance, you hear the growling, and two more hounds appear at the far side.
Oh, crap.
Of the
bridge.
Those tokens are coming into play all the way at the back. You hear the growling and the grunting as you hear the paws sort of striking the cobblestone on the other side of the bridge as two more hounds appear at his whistle. And with that, he just, after his whistle is done, and he kind of looks back and he checks and he smiles, and the grin that he gives you is jagged teeth, and his sort of skull, painted on his face just becomes even more sinister. And he smiles, and that's where we'll end it.
Son of a bitch.
Sweet.
Oh, crap.
Oh man. Okay.
Wow.
Dope.
Nice.
Guys, that was the first episode of our new campaign, Unsung, in a brand new tabletop RPG called Emberwind. Guys, go check out Emberwind on go follow Namnavora Games on Twitter. Go check out Emberwind at emberwind.com. Super awesome game, super awesome mechanics, very out of the box mechanics, very beautiful artwork. And before we get out of here, let's go around, introduce our casting crew, and go throw a raid to our friends. So we'll go to Johnny. Johnny, who are you? Where can we find you on the internet? And what are you up to?
Video Store Cowboy here. I am a tabletop streamer with a side of variety. Just to correct something you said, Emberwind Games, or emberwindgame.com is the actual website for that. This was awesome, guys. This was a lot of fun. I did a lot more prep than I've had for any other game because this system is so beautiful and there are so many intricacies in the simplicity of the system. Had a really great time. Thanks for everybody kind of, showing up and just, bringing their best. I'm looking forward to adding a wrinkle next week as we get another player in the mix and add her into the whole combat scenario. What am I up to? I'm up to this. I've got a new show coming on Arvin Elrond's channel. We're going to be playing a game called The Plea That Woke. And over on Dungeons and Distractions, I will be running some Tales for the Loop very soon. And other than that, I'll be doing a bunch of streaming on my channel. So check me out, guys. Thanks.
Yeah, awesome. Let's jump over to Sam. Sam, who are you? Where can we find you? And what are you up to?
My name is Sam, aka the Wizened Fool. I am not up to much other than this right now. I've got some other stuff in the pipeline, but I'll announce that later on. And yeah, I had a great time tonight. At the end of this, there's rules for switching stuff up. I realized that I really misunderstood how the P and the A interact in this game and built my character totally wrong. So
it was like a fun discussion.
We may tinker with some of that, but yeah, I had a blast, and I'm super excited to like really get into the system because I think we're gonna get a lot better at it really quickly, and I think there is a lot there to dig into. So
heck yeah, awesome, man! I'm super excited to jump into the system more. That being said, John, who are you? Where can we find you? And what are you up to?
Yeah, Radio Johnny Panda here. Great to be with you guys. This looks like it's going to be a really fun game, assuming we survive the bridge.
Episode 2. Yeah.
I'm with the Infinity and Beyond crew on Arvin Elrond's channel. We game twice a month. I'll also be later this month. I'll actually be starting my own version of Axia and Beyond as well on Arv's channel too, on alternate Thursdays, opposite, was it Feet of Clay? The clay game
Clay that woke, yeah. We'll be doing opposing Thursdays on that.
Exactly. So, but yeah, I do this kind of stuff. I guess I'm getting a little bit more into it. I work for NOM. I work for Catalyst Game Labs. I write. I edit. I have not enough hours in the day to do everything. So, but this has been a lot of fun, guys. I look forward to seeing us move forward on this.
Awesome.
Should be a blast. Again, assuming we survive.
Yeah.
And that 4 players, I think it'd be really helpful.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I can't wait to see how she gets introduced next episode.
Comes in to save our asses.
Yeah. Fear not,
walks by the bridge. Ooh, I don't want to get involved in that. Just walks.
And then just leaves.
Bye.
Just turns the camera off. Fear not, chat. We do have a 4th player coming in next week. Is Little Red Dot Chelsea. She is playing a dope druid who is definitely not a drug dealer, or could be. We'll find out. That being said, guys, if you want to support the channel, please go check out our Patreon. That is the best way to do so. And let's throw some love over to our friends Dice and Heroes. They're currently playing some D&D 5e, run by Bob, who is the GM for the Monday night show. So please go check those guys out. Give them all your hot sticky raid love, and from all of us to you guys, bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.